Welcome, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive into the life and career of Nicole Eggert, and we're using this really interesting infographic report as our guide. We want to trace her journey, through the spotlight, understand the milestones, but also try and get a feel for what it all meant.
Yeah, it's quite something. Seeing it laid out visually like that, it really lets you see the different phases, the whole arc of a career lived so publicly.
Exactly. So let's jump right in. Born in Glendale, California, 1972. Her start was, well, not typical. She won Miss Universe Petite Division at 5 years old. I mean, 5.
Wow. Yeah,
Ah.
that's an intense beginning. It really throws you into a world of performance, of competition right from the get-go.
For sure.
And when you start that young, your sense of self, it can get really tangled up with, what other people think. External validation, it's a dynamic that probably played out later, too.
Definitely something to keep in mind. Okay, so from there, she moves pretty quickly into acting, roles in shows like TJ Hooker, Who's the Boss?
Right, building a foundation.
Yeah, even as a kid, getting that industry experience.
Those early roles, they give you invaluable time on set, connections. They're like stepping stones, building confidence for bigger things later on.
And the big breakthrough, becoming a teen idol, that came with Charles in Charge, late 80s. She played Jamie Powell for, over 100 episodes?
Yeah, 104 episodes. Made her a huge name.
Huge name. She won a Young Artist Award, too. Seemed like a golden time for her career.
Charles in Charge definitely hit a nerve, culturally speaking, and she was right there in the middle of it. But that kind of fame, especially when you're an adolescent, well, it can be amazing, but also really challenging while you're still figuring yourself out.
Okay, and this is where it gets interesting because the infographic does mention her talking later about how hard it was growing up in the public eye like that. So, from the outside, maybe it looked like a dream, but internally, pressure.
Yeah, that makes sense. The report doesn't dive into super specific details, but it hints at that struggle, right?
Yeah.
Trying to have a normal life, some privacy when everyone's watching.
Right.
For child stars, those lines between who you are publicly and privately, they get really blurry. And just normal growing up stuff happens under a microscope. Can be isolating.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Okay, fast forward a bit. Early 90s, she lands Baywatch, Summer Quinn, 1992 to 94.
The global phenomenon.
Exactly. The show is absolutely massive. And she became this, international sex symbol. How did that level of fame compare to Charles in Charge? Was it different?
Oh, completely different scale. Baywatch was everywhere, truly global. And the image from that show, her role especially, became so iconic.
Right.
Which, opened doors absolutely. But it also brought, well, the typecasting issue.
Yeah. The infographic calls it a double-edged sword. The fame led to typecasting some negative press, which apparently played a part in her leaving the show, wanting to redefine herself.
Right. And you see that a lot. Actors want to be seen as more than just one character, explore different things, show their range.
Sure.
Plus, the sheer intensity of the scrutiny, sometimes the objectification with roles like that.
Right.
It takes a toll. You might start looking for projects that feel more creatively satisfying, maybe less exposed in that purely physical way.
So what happens after Baywatch? The infographic shows she kept working? TV movies, direct-to-video stuff, guest spots?
Yeah, she didn't just vanish.
Yeah.
Which really speaks to her resilience, I think.
Absolutely, sticking with it.
It shows commitment, a drive to keep working in the industry, even if the projects weren't always hitting that same massive mainstream level as Baywatch. She adapted. It's a tough business.
And what I found really interesting, too, was her stepping outside traditional acting roles later, like reality TV, Celebrity Fit Club, Splash,
Right.
and even starting an ice cream truck business. What do moves like that tell us?
Well, a few things, maybe. Could be wanting new challenges, experiences beyond scripts. Reality TV is a different kind of exposure, more about personality. And starting a business, that gives you control, independence. It could also just be practical, honestly.
Wow.
Finding ways to earn a living, stay visible in a really unpredictable industry.
Now, something the infographic really emphasizes is her role as a mother, a devoted single mom to her daughters, Dylan and Keegan.
Yes, very central.
It's shown as a key influence on her choices, a big motivator, especially when things got tough. How do you think motherhood might have specifically shaped her career path?
Oh, motherhood often shifts everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Priorities change dramatically. Maybe you start looking for more stability or projects that let you be home more.
Makes sense.
Or maybe you choose roles that align better with, the values you want to pass on. And it's definitely a powerful source of strength. Gives you that why, that reason to push through challenges.
And she definitely faced challenges. The infographic points to public scrutiny, financial issues, even past alleged trauma. It really highlights her strength in dealing with all that, with what it calls growing authenticity.
Mm.
What do you think growing authenticity really means here?
I think it probably means being more willing to be, well, open, honest about her experiences, the good and the bad, without maybe the usual filters public figures feel they need.
Right, letting the guard down a bit.
Yeah, maybe coming from a place of more self-acceptance, wanting to connect more genuinely, finding strength in being vulnerable, perhaps.
Then a huge curveball. Late 2023, she's diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. And the report notes she chose to share that journey, the intensive treatment, very publicly.
Yeah.
What's the impact when someone like her does that? Opens up about something so personal.
Oh, it could be huge. Really impactful. It helps fight the stigma around the illness, for one.
That
raises crucial awareness, self-exams, early detection, all that. And it sends a message of hope, of resilience to others going through it. Makes people feel less alone, more empowered maybe to get help.
The infographic says this whole experience was transformative for her. It talks about a new sense of fearlessness and self-love, believing she can become a better version of herself.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
It really is. And while everyone's journey is different, you do hear that quite often from people who face serious health scares.
A shift in perspective.
Exactly. A reevaluation of what matters, a deeper appreciation for life, maybe a stronger sense of self. Facing something like that can really clarify things.
So that brings us up to now, early 2025. The infographic shows her continuing her health journey, but also really engaging with people through her podcast, Perfectly Twisted. Producing projects, too, like a docuseries called After Baywatch. Still doing some acting and staying involved as a cancer awareness advocate.
Yeah, it sounds like she's channeling everything she's been through into really meaningful work.
It really does.
It shows incredible strength. Using her platform to connect, to make a positive difference. She's not just getting through it. She's actively creating and contributing.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, looking at Nicole Eggert's life through this infographic, it's clear her story is much more than just a Hollywood tale.
Absolutely.
It's about constant personal evolution, dedication to her kids, and just this incredible resilience when life throws things at you.
Yeah, for me, what really stands out is that journey towards authenticity. Despite all the pressures of fame, starting so young, she seems to be really embracing a more genuine self, especially lately. And that's, quite an example.
It really is. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah,
About fame itself, what it
Yeah.
is, how people handle those incredible highs and lows, especially when life throws in unexpected challenges like illness. How do you stay grounded, keep growing with all that scrutiny and personal struggle? Definitely something to ponder.